Hi, my name is Matt Dorsey and I'm the Political Director for the Texas Young Republicans. I live in Dallas and work as a lead software developer. I've been involved with the Texas YR State Board since 2019, first as North Texas Regional Director, then as Executive Director, and most recently I was elected by the membership to serve as the state's Political Director at the 2019 convention. I decided to make this video to recap my efforts and to show you what you got in return for entrusting me with your vote. I also wanted to share with you my plans after my term expires in September. So let's go back to the beginning of my first term. We were entering into the 2020 election cycle and the stakes were incredibly high. The results of this election would determine which party would control the redistricting process and thereby determine legislative control for the foreseeable future. Going into that election, the Republican majority barely remained by a slim 9-seat margin. Our opposition was emboldened like never before, and money from inside and outside the state was determined to turn our state blue. I had my work cut out for me. TYRF grassroots participation up to that point, it wasn't great, and our reputation within the party was questionable at best. We had dreams and dialogue to be a force in politics, but not much to show for it. We lacked money, and we lacked work ethic, the latter of which can be best summed up with one of my initial conversations that I had with the Republican Party of Texas. I'll never forget one of their volunteer directors saying to me, and I quote, "We can't get YRs to do a thing." He was right, and we both knew it. Thankfully, however, they saw my sincerity and a desire to work with them, and together we rekindled our Texas YR activism efforts while entering into a renewed mutual relationship with the Republican Party of Texas. I spoke with them regularly, and together we organized statewide grassroots volunteer efforts while attempting different strategies and tactics to motivate turnout among our volunteers. As we worked together, our relationship improved, emboldening me to construct and present to them an actionable plan for statewide deployments. The overall ask in that plan was that RPT invest in Texas YR for a series of 9 deployments to various parts of our state so that we could defend our Republican majority in the Texas House and with it, the redistricting process. RPT came through and they wrote our federation a grant for $18,000. With the work of renewing our relationship, writing an actionable plan, and securing the funding, I was now ready to lead our 2020 deployments. From August to November 2020, Texas Young Republicans deployed to a different state house district almost every weekend, where we knocked on thousands of doors to drive voter turnout for our Republican candidates. Our goal was simple: keep our Republican majority in the Texas State House, and with it, the redistricting process. Despite the many obstacles that 2020 threw at us, Texas YR showed up and we held the Texas House. But our deployment victories were so much larger than contributing to any candidate's race. Despite a global pandemic, discouraging and fake polls, threat of a Texas blue wave, a reputation for being a drinking club, and 1,000 other hurdles, TYRF showed Texas and our party just how hard we are willing to work. With our beloved state secure and our Republican majorities, we then turned our attention to saving our Texas cities from deranged city council members that were voting to defund our police. Once again, I set about my work to organize and lead statewide deployments. Municipal offices such as school board and city council have the biggest impact on our everyday lives. But historical interest among registered voters has amounted to crumbs. I live in Dallas, where the May 1st election brought out less than 10% of registered voters. For comparison, the presidential election brought out 66%. The voter apathy for municipal elections is tragic. However, with such low turnout numbers, I saw a fantastic opportunity for TYRF to focus our efforts to bring conservative candidates to these overlooked offices. Once again, I constructed a plan and I executed it. But the plan went beyond just doing deployments. Many in our organization are interested in someday running for office. but are unsure about where to start. So in an effort to find that starting point, I launched the YR in Office video series. Over the course of several months, I interviewed Texas YRs across our state who were already serving in an elected municipal position, or they were campaigning to get there. Not only did these YR office holders explain their office and how they got there, but they also shared the self-doubts and uncertainties that we all have as young candidates when making a decision to run. If you are considering running and haven't watched the interviews yet, I encourage you to check them out on our website at texasyr.gop/YR in Office. It's never been a better time to surround yourself with like-minded activists in the Texas Young Republicans that share a common goal to someday get elected. My efforts from now until the close of my term will be to help get you on that path. And I've got an actionable plan for this too, which I previewed at last month's board meeting. I hope that my record as your TYRF political director has convinced you that I care deeply for this organization. I also hope this helped you realize that one success begets another, and that the early successes at the beginning of my first term were hard fought for and won through much mending and repair of the organization's reputation. We have a great momentum with our deployment and our recruitment efforts, and that brings me to my ask. I want one more term as your TYRF political director. My next term will focus on standardizing and bringing sustainability to the efforts put forth in my first term. These efforts were good, and they've gotten attention by other state federations, as well as at the National Federation. Give me one more term, and we will continue to show why the Texas Young Republicans are not just the future of our party, we are the now. Thank you.